Welcome to the May open session of the Master Board to the 3 o'clock. We changed it. I hope you're not on the wrong time because you're going to miss out. So I'd like everybody to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to start with the executive report from Jason. General Manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. One thing I'm going to go over today, I'm just going to give you an update on the RV lot and the street seal coating. For the RV lot, it's received a second seal coat today. The striping will occur tomorrow, May 26th. You may start putting your RVs, trailers, and vehicles back into the lot on Saturday, May 28th. And citations will start to be given out again Tuesday night. So Tuesday evening or Tuesday night, overnight, if your RVs are not back in the lot, they're still parked on the streets, you will be cited. We understand there may be some extenuating circumstances. If that's the case, please give the office a call so that we can make arrangements for that. With the street seal coating, kind of give you just a rundown of the week that's going to take place. So Monday, June 6th, we will have Riviera Avenue from Indian Wells to Maidstone, Peridot Bay, and Pleasant Valley Avenue will be taken care of on that day. So that's Monday, June 6th. Tuesday, June 7th, Gate 1 from Country Club Drive to Augusta Way, Laguna Seca Court from the cul-de-sac to Thunderbird, and Sawgrass. Thursday, June 9th, we have Country Club Drive to Augusta Way to the main clubhouse parking lot. Lynchfield Court, Sawgrass to the cul-de-sac, Carnoustie, and Bradley Drive will be done on Thursday, June 9th. Monday, June 13th, we'll have Country Club Drive will be done from the main clubhouse parking lot to Pebble Beach, Laguna Seca to Peridot Bay, to Country Club Drive, Lynchfield Court to Sawgrass, and Point Verde Circle will be done on Monday the 13th. And finally, Wednesday, June 15th, Torrey Pines Road, Saloma Way, Sunrise Drive, Laguna Seca from Thunderbird to Peridot Bay, Warwick Hills from Laguna Seca to Country Club will be done on Wednesday, June 15th. That's the report that I have. Unfortunately, Chris was unable to make it today, but he will be here next month to give the full report.
Thank you. Do we have any executive session actions?
Thank you, Mr. President. I will go ahead and read the executive report for the month of May. This will include meetings on the 11th, the 16th, the 24th, and the 25th of May, at which time litigation, member discipline, formation of contracts, and personal matters were discussed. With personal matters or member matters, the board reviewed 2 show cause hearings. The board reviewed 2 homeowner appeals of a master architectural committee decision. The board reviewed 1 homeowner appeal to a safety committee decision. The board met with the chair of the restaurant and lounge committee. The board reviewed 1 member request for a fee waiver. The board reviewed 3 member requests for a parking variance. The board reviewed a donation request on behalf of the Garden Club. The board reviewed a few letters that they had received from homeowners. The board approved the F&B and golf receivables as of April 30th, 2022, and the assessment account receivables as of April 30th, 2022. And the board also approved the April 30th, 2022 delinquency report. With legal, the board approved the executive session minutes from April 27th and May 11th. The board approved to continue with the foreclosure sale on a property. The board approved a foreclosure on lien and record the notice of default on the following: APN 440-110-017, and the board reviewed an opinion from legal. Formation of contracts. The board approved to sell the leftover carpet we have that has been stored and to start looking for a better carpet to bring to the board for the clubhouse. The board received updates from the management company on a number of items. The board approved using Nemovi Law Group, APC, to start working with MLG on collections. The board reviewed and approved the proposal from Association Reserves for the 2023 Reserve Study. The board discussed changing the speed limit in Sun Lakes. This is on tonight's agenda. The board discussed changing the golf cart parking rules at the South Clubhouse. This is on tonight's agenda. The board set times to interview for the 3 new committees, the Standing FAC, the Contract Review Committee, and the Board Expansion Ad Hoc Committee. The board received and filed the Sun Lakes Cash Report as of May 13th, 2022. The board reviewed and approved the April and May narrative and analytic reports from Securitas. Again, the narrative will be posted to the website. The board reviewed the strategic plan and will continue to review and update monthly. The board approved to stop the street sweeping contract for a period of 6 months to evaluate it. The board reviewed the draft of the new breakfast, lunch, and dinner menus. The board reviewed a proposal for the replacement of the Master Architectural Committee tablets. This is on tonight's agenda for approval. The board reviewed proposals for the replacement of the South Clubhouse cardio equipment. Again, this is on tonight's agenda for approval. The board approved the emergency purchase of spectator chairs for the billiards room. This item is on tonight's agenda for ratification. The board approved to release the entire open session packet and post it to the website prior to the meeting. So this was done earlier this morning. From now on, it will be posted when the agenda is posted, so it will be posted 4 days in advance. The board approved bringing on a seasonal part-time temp to assist with monitoring the pools on the weekends from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And the board reviewed a request from Amazon to install their RFID reader at the gate. And then finally, the board approved a draft charter for a community ambassador. And that completes the executive session report.
Thank you. Next is a report from the City of Banning. There you go.
Okay, good afternoon. In light of the recent tragedy in Texas yesterday, we are learning that no community is immune from tragedy. Just last week, there were 2 attempted suicides in Banning. One was a 12-year-old who was attempting to jump from the San Gregonio overpass onto the 10 freeway. Fortunately, the school resource officer who knew the child was able to talk them down. The next day, a teacher attempted to end her life at a local school. Thanks to quick action, she too was saved. Mental health issues are increasing. My doctor told me yesterday that he has never seen so many patients with mental and emotional issues before. We need to come together as a community and work together to take care of each other and our community. This brings me to the issue of social media. Too many people are getting their information and news from social media. Too often, it is misinformation, rumors, and lies. Here's a recent example. Last Sunday and on Monday, Art Vila, the director of Public Works for the city, was here to talk about the Sun Lakes Boulevard extension, the I-10 Highland Springs interchange, and some water issues. Here's what ended up on social media. Comment number 1. Did anyone go to the water meeting? They couldn't answer the questions, and the elephant in the room, that they raised the water rates in 2018 to pay for a new filter system for chromium-6. You can put your own filter at your expense, but what about the ones who can't afford them? Answer from Art Vila. This is incorrect. The city completed a chromium-6 treatment study in 2016 and developed high-level cost estimates. The estimated costs were not included in the previous rate increase approved by the council. The city currently meets the chromium-6 maximum contaminant levels, and therefore there is or was no need to construct treatment facilities. Comment number 2. But the city did not use the money for that, never did it, but they spent the money they took from us for that purpose and built more house connections on the north and stick us with a warehouse. Incorrect. The city has not included the cost of meeting the proposed Chromium 6 standard in the city's rates. Additionally, the city has not built more house connections. Developers are responsible for paying the cost of new house connections. Comment number 3. Again, they didn't address the allocation of water needed for warehouses that they want us to come up with. As stressed in the presentation, the city has enough water to continue to support development. In terms of water allocation for warehouses are low water users as compared to residential uses, and the city is more than capable of meeting these demands with its current water supplies. Number 4. And the reason they have no money is it keeps going into reps' pockets, not city coffers. Grossly incorrect. The city's water revenues go into the Water Enterprise Fund, a restricted fund. Every dollar is accounted for. All detailed look at revenues and expenditures can be found on the city's OpenGov page, banningca.opengov.com. Comment number 5. Now they're going to make us move the main gate to gate 5. Answer. This was mentioned as a possible suggestion to relieve traffic at the main gate. It was not to move the main gate, it was to direct more traffic there, just like we do on holidays. They said Banning will pay for, the city will not make the HOA do this. Number 6. And take out the median of Sun Lakes Boulevard and widen for truck traffic. They said Banning will pay for the stoplights, as they connect it to Sunset Boulevard. Answer. The median will not be removed, but rather modified to extend the existing eastbound left turn pocket to accommodate more vehicles in order to leave the through lanes unobstructed. Number 7. With no idea how we will go from gate 3 to gate 4 to play our golf courses. Answer. As discussed during the meeting, the city will analyze the options and, if warranted, will install a traffic signal at intersections rather than stop signs to assist in traffic circulation and to provide safety for cross traffic. There are 2 more. Number 8, then they want us to shut off our water features. I wonder if that will mean draining our lakes on the short course and the big course eventually. What will they do to our property values? Answer. As stressed during the presentation, shutting off water features and non-filling of decorative ponds and lakes is a state mandate, not a city requirement. And the last one. And you should see the interchange they want to build off of I-10 made for trucks. Answer. The proposed interchange improvements at Highland Springs Avenue are intended to resolve the current congestion issues and to provide capacity for future traffic related to the various developments in both cities that will utilize the interchange. If you want correct information about anything in the city, the county, the state, or even the federal government, please contact me. Call me, text me, email me. If I don't have the answer, I will find the correct person who does. This rapid spread of misinformation and lies is turning friend against friend, neighbor against neighbor, and people outside of Sun Lakes against our community. All it takes is for a few loud negative voices to ruin the good reputation of our community. And believe me, it's happening. So some upcoming events. Next month, on Sunday, June 26th at 2 p.m., I will be hosting another coffee, and this time it will be in the ballroom. I have invited Roman Ruiz, who is the on-site supervisor for the new transitional village for the homeless to come and give you the facts about this project. The project should be finished or almost finished by then. Just a reminder that the on-ramp from Highland Springs to the 10 westbound will be closed starting June 7th, so plan accordingly. And the last bit of news, the 60 through the Badlands has been completed, and the ribbon cutting will be on June 2nd, which is not too far from here. So, my closing remark, let's work together to make Banning a great place to live, work, raise a family, and retire.
Thank you very much. Next is the sub-associations. Apparently, there are no sub-association reports. Next is Delegate Assembly. Joe? Not at this time.
Thank you, Mr. President, and congratulations. I think the test of having a board meeting in the afternoon, I look at succeeding meetings to have chairs all the way back to the back wall. Our meeting of the District Delegate Assembly took place on May 5th, and at that particular time we began the meeting with a moment of silence for the passing of Jack Sidwell. I am mentioning it now because Jack was such an ardent fan of Sun Lakes Country Club, a volunteer participant as a board member of the Board of Directors and involved in the District Delegate Assembly, and he just spent the rest of his life here at Sun Lakes and volunteering. And I think he was the so-called patron saint of many of us, and we're going to miss him. Our meeting actually began with a discussion or a talk from Ken Walton, who was the director of District 3 in the San Gorgonio Water District. After that, we had reports from the Food and Beverage, Thomas, and from the Recreation Department. And I want you to know that we have reports every meeting from the major departments because the delegates have a chance to ask questions of the directors, and because that information is highlighted in their newsletters. So it is important for us to disseminate the information to our people in each of the districts. On the agenda today, the board agenda today, there are, I think, 9 approvals for delegate or alternate delegates. Remember, our election, we had a number of spots, a number of positions in the Delegate Assembly, and that we had no candidates. Fortunately, over the past month, a number of people stood up and volunteered to the point of now we have only 1 position open, and that is in District 2. In District 2, we need an alternate delegate to help the new delegate, Loretta, to manage the people there and the information to that district. So, you residents in District 2, give me a call. I'm ready to propose your name to the Board of Directors for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. The next item is a new item on the agenda. It's going to be a Banning Point Warehouse Project, a community update. We felt it was important enough to keep everybody involved as to, or advised as to what's happening. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon. My name is Bruce Brown. I'm a member of the Pass Action Group, one of the board of directors. I'm here to just share with you some of the upcoming events for Pass Action Group. On June 1st, 2022, there will be a mandatory settlement conference with the PAG attorneys and the attorneys for the city of Banning and the developers. This is a required formality regarding our lawsuit that was filed April 18, 2022. On June 5th, there will be a PAG open town hall meeting. That's Sunday, June 5th at 2 p.m. right here in this room. The PAG board will update supporters as to the status of our lawsuit against the city of Banning and the developers. Additionally, we will discuss a current course of action with our attorneys and the necessary funding to continue that fight. On June 16th, we'll be doing a canvassing of the entire Sun Lakes to try to talk to everyone about our situation and donations. On June 20th, there'll be a PAG scheduled meeting with the judge that was assigned to our case. That's the Honorable Craig Reimer. That's all I have today. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Before we begin the committee reports, I just want to remind everybody, we have a very long agenda today, so if you can keep your reports and comments to the 3-minute time limit, we would appreciate it. Thank you. First report is the Bingo Advisory Committee. No, I don't know what to do.
Good afternoon to the Master Board and Administration and to all of our residents. My name is Karen Royer, and I'm the co-chair of the Bingo Advisory Committee. And I would like to let you know that Bingo is continuing to have more Sun Lake residents and outside guests come on Tuesday nights. We're starting to hit right around 200 that come, and that's still below what we're used to before COVID. We're now offering food and beverages to all our players. Chris and Thomas serve an entree, chips, and a drink for $10 plus tax and gratuity. The window is open here in the ballroom for them to get beverages, and it's credit card and resident membership cards only. The bar and lounge is open to residents only, not to the outside guest. This coming Tuesday or Wednesday, I believe it is, the committee is going to be giving a $2,000 check to the Sun Lakes Charitable Trust. So we're real happy about that. Back on the food, we're excited because we're able to help the restaurant with the revenue by what we're doing on Tuesday nights, and it seems to be pretty successful. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Common Area Advisory Committee.
Nice sign. I'll delay. Doug Swenson from the Common Area Advisory Committee. We continue to monitor the facilities within Sun Lakes. We've had a meeting with the board, and they have requested that we take a look at spending a little bit more time and effort in the landscape, trees, shrubs, such as that. So we are going to be making a minor change to our charter, which will be presented next month, and bring on another person. And we will be working a little bit more diligent in that regard so that there are all the areas of planting around the development get looked at each month. So that will be a new challenge for us, but we're all interested in and looking forward to taking on the challenge. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is Epep. Golf Advisory.
Good afternoon, Board and Sun Lakers. I'm Joanne Dixon, representing the GAC today. The good news is the bunker project is on the championship course is finished. All 18 holes are open. The project was completed a little ahead of time, and the Ladies Golf Club was the first one to be able to play 18 holes. The greenside bunkers are excellent. Their shape, the sand, and the fact they were softened to make it easier for us to enter and exit the bunkers makes our course even better. Mark Birchfield, course superintendent, and his crew helped the bunker company with this project, which saved us money, and it also had the project completed a little earlier. So I thank Mark and his crew for that. I wish all Sun Lakers were golfers so you could enjoy this fabulous amenity. Brian Garlington and his pro staff need to be commended for their professional handling of the various hole closures and the people who constantly complained. Okay, the pro staff does give good lessons too, in case you're so inclined. Okay, other projects on tap are repair a cart golf paths, and that's on the agenda. It's a safety issue, signage in areas where people shouldn't be walking their dogs, a liability issue, and replacement of planks on the bridges on holes 4 and 6 on the executive course. That's also a safety hazard. They will come up later in this meeting. Mike Callahan is running a great golf advisory committee. I've been here for a long time and been on that group. And its members are really active in the projects we're trying to accomplish. So please reach out to any of us if you have concerns, and we will certainly try to help you solve them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is the Library Advisory Committee. I think Jason has their report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did receive a report from the Library Committee. This is the Library Committee report to the Master Board for May 25th, submitted by Linda Taylor. The committee received a $10,000 donation from a family of a deceased Sun Lakes resident to add much-needed seating to the paperback library in the main clubhouse. This will necessitate knocking out the back wall to extend the library space towards the empty coffee bar. The committee thanks the family of our Sun Lakes residents for this generous gift, which will make the paperback library more conducive for browsing. At the same time, we are also exploring the possibility of adding more bookshelves to the fireplace room in the main clubhouse. Administration is accepting bids for this project, for both projects. The committee is trying to determine if anyone is still using audiobooks. If you want the library to keep the audiobook collection, please let us know by Memorial Day. Page 15 of the current lifestyle provides a way to do that. We have an ongoing problem of old books being dumped in all of our libraries, books that we cannot add to our collection due to the lack of space. Residents are reminded and asked again not to donate anything 10 years or older. Dumping books puts an unfair burden on committee volunteers to dispose of them. Posted in each library is a list of where you can take any donations of books older than 10 years. Please be courteous and help us with this. Our next book sale is scheduled for July 4th. If you can help us out with shelving, again, refer to the current lifestyles, page 15, for how to volunteer. And that completes the Library Committee report.
Thank you. Next is Lifestyles.
Good afternoon. My name is Marcia Gold, and I am a member of the Lifestyles Advisory Committee. We have received Master Board approval to expand our committee, and we're therefore looking for volunteers. We currently have one candidate pending board approval, and her name is Diane Dellis. So thank you for stepping up, Diane. We welcome others who may be interested to please fill out a volunteer interest form. I happen to have any if you'd like. Or you can pick them up in the lobby at any time. The Lifestyles magazine continues to be a great source of information for all activities here at Sun Lakes, along with Channel 97, Good Day Sun Lakes, Facebook, District Delegate newsletters, and the Sun Lakes website. It is my privilege to serve on this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Marketing and Communication Advisory Committee.
Thank you, Board. Welcome, residents. Since I last spoke last month, we have produced over 74 media content items for Good Day Sun Lakes and Channel 97, and that's a lot of production. We have posted over 80 media items on the Sun Lakes website. Again, a lot of posting up there, so you're getting a lot of information that's coming out. We've issued over a dozen e-blasts so far, so should be able to get the information that you're looking for. We have been getting an increase in the requests for media production, and since we've done that, we've created a form that can be found in Hernan's office right by Recreation. And so if you need media or requesting it, go in and fill that out. Now, with the capacity that we have and the number of requests, we do prioritize who gets what first. So the board, the committees and so on get priority, the same as the room assignment. So that's how we try to work it. So you may not get it up if we're full with all the other ones going, because there's only so many hours that we can produce content. It takes a while to produce all of that. We're continuing to expand our programming on Channel 97. We now have 5 episodes that we'll be putting up over time with Brian Garlington doing tips and tricks that he's done, and we're going to be doing some more with him. So you golfers, if you want to tune in, we'll have some more instruction from him. And if you want the latest news, you can always find it. It's on the crawl on Channel 97. It's on the website, and it's on Good Day Sun Lakes. We get that up really quickly as soon as we get the information. So you have the restaurant specials for that day and for the whole week. If a gate closure or equipment failure, we post that up there. So if you have any questions, those are resources to go to. And so if you have a TV, watch Channel 97. If not, there's other sources. That's the end of my research.
Thank you very much. I want to thank Bob, Lee, and Hernan for doing such an excellent job with Channel 97. You know, it's a lot of work, but they're increasing the programming, and I want to thank all of them for that extra work. Yes, we have one more report in reference to that committee. It has to do with real estate.
My name is John Swem. I'm a resident in Sun Lakes for the past 12 years, and thank you, Master Board, and for the community. I'm a member of the Marketing and Communications Committee, and I'm an active realtor. Currently in Sun Lakes, I know that I get asked all the time what's going on in real estate, so we're going to try to meet that need. There are 35 homes for sale currently, which is not a great amount. We used to have 130 pre-COVID. So during COVID, they went very fast. This year, they've been running between 20 and 35. We've closed approximately 25 escrows a month. So that brings 25 people that are moving out and 25 people moving in. Our price range of homes has expanded from 300 to 600,000. There was one home that was well over 600, in fact. So we're getting up in the higher prices, too. Little blank there. Anyways, the outlook for real estate in Sun Lakes in our community, the way I see it, is good. We are surrounded by Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego County, Riverside, San Bernardino, which produces a tremendous amount of people that are retiring and selling their homes in those areas and getting a great amount of equity out, and they're looking for a retirement community, and we happen to be the best in Southern California. I think without a doubt, the amenities that we have to offer and the way that they are kept up and maintained is just equal to none. I mean, we are the best. So I think they're going to continue to provide us with demand, and if we could keep the supply going, it doesn't matter, the interest rates are going to get a little higher because our buyers are coming with cash. So it should be still a good market for Sun Lake for the next year. If interest rates and inflation continue to go out of control, then we will have a problem. But right now, we're good.
Thank you very much. Next is the Master Architectural Committee.
Thank you, President and Master Board. We're receiving between 30 and 50 applications every 2 weeks now. Our highest was 52 in one meeting. And many of the applications are now concerning landscaping and especially drought-tolerant landscaping. Based on the executive order of Governor Newsom of July 8, 2021, and based on the desires of the Master Board, I just want you to know that the Master Architectural Committee is looking much more tolerant on drought-tolerant yards. By that I mean more hardscape and less grass. The other thing is, don't forget artificial turf. Not only is it considered a softscape, but it's really easy to take care of, looks great, and lasts 25 years. The other thing, the planning department is working to simplify the applications to make modifications. Hopefully we'll go from 5 different applications to 3 in the immediate future. We're also trying to, we will be making some resolutions in order to speed up the application process on some things that are normal and routine. We are hoping that you'll be able to immediately get an answer and it won't have to go through the Master Architectural Committee. I thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you very much. Next is Recreation. We have a new leader here.
Good afternoon, Master Board, staff, and residents. My name is Wade Sampson, and I am the co-chair of the Recreation Advisory Committee. I just want to share a little bit of what's been going on with us. May, the weather started getting a little bit better, so we had a few events which were very, very well attended, so we were very happy about that. And I'm just going to share with you a little bit of what's coming up for June. I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to summer. But we're going to be starting our evenings on the veranda with Renee after dark. She'll be coming every Wednesday for the months of June, July, August, September, and October, I think. I think it's the first Wednesday of each month, so starting June 1st, which is next Wednesday. The COVID vaccine clinic has been very well attended also. We're having it again on June 3rd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in the ballroom. Ice cream socials have been very, very well attended. We're having another one on Monday, June 13th at 2 p.m. in the main clubhouse. Sandwich, actually, $3 per person. We'll also be starting up our Music Under the Stars on Saturday, June 25th. Entertainment is Raincross Drive is going to be the entertainment on that particular day. As the months go on, we will let you know who's going to be entertaining us. In June, coming in July, we're going to have the 4th of July parade. The applications packets are available or will be available starting Wednesday, June 1st at the front reception desk at the main clubhouse. And they're due to be, you need to turn them in by Thursday, June 30th. The theme for this year's celebration is America Red, White, and Blue. And we'll be offering ribbons, gifts, and certificates to the restaurant. There will be a barbecue luncheon, choice of pulled pork, hot dogs, and hamburgers. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. We have a comedy night coming up Saturday, July 16th at 6 p.m. and they're $15 for the comedy night in the ballroom. And I think we also have all the travel information who want, it's up at the front. You can always get that information. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next is RV storage. Restaurant and lounge.
Mr. President, Master Board, my My name's Victoria Simonton. I'm the chair of the Restaurant Lounge Committee. And we have had a very busy month. We've been helping the, I'm sorry. We've been having a very busy month. We've been helping Chef Chris and Thomas with the new menu. The new menus should be ready, according to Thomas, by the middle of June, upon approval. They will include new menus for the restaurant, the lounge, the sandwich, and the pool. Sunday brunch will be back starting this coming Sunday and will be the last Sunday of the month. Father's Day brunch in the restaurant will be $35.95 for adults, $24.95 for children, and $10 for champagne. And for children, for children, did I say for children, $24.95? Yeah, I did. Okay. On July 4th, Wayne also told you it'll be $17 inclusive, which is a great deal, for pulled pork or chicken sandwich, baked beans, coleslaw, and chips. For the future, we'll have seasonal changes to the menu just to keep up the variety and excitement in the selection. We will also be having to add to the ambiance of the restaurant, which was #1 request on the survey, some beautiful new plants coming in, trees, and they will be lighted in the evening and add a lot more atmosphere to the restaurant. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is the Safety Advisory Committee.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lila Walden. I am a committee member of the Safety Advisory Committee. Bill Bess is the chairman, and he could not be here today, but he did write a report, which he has asked me to read. Through March and April, our speed is increasing again. Surprise, surprise. Securitas has noticed up to 40 miles per hour on Country Club and Riviera. Unfortunately, we did have a wreck on Country Club that caused a woman to be seriously injured after running into a landscaping truck on Country Club. Banning Police Department and Securitas, he says contributed, I say attributed it to excess speed. The first intersection coming into the main gate is very concerning for speed, as many people walk their dogs there. Residents need to wear highly visible or fluorescent clothes when walking in the night hours, and please carry a flashlight. Parking violations are back up also. They will be paving the RV lot, that's kind of already happened, and we'll be posting notifications on that. Streets and speed humps will be next. The Community Awareness Group held a meeting with Waste Management for more details and came away more confused than we already were. Signed, Bill Bess. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we begin the consent agenda, I need a show of hands. Is anybody here getting a little warm? Is it warm in here? We need to have somebody check on the temperature. If you could have someone do that to make it more comfortable for the audience. No, we're going to continue. The consent agenda. Does any board member wish to take any item off of our consent agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Here's what we just approved. The minutes from April 27th, open board session. The alternate district delegate resignation. We had accept the resignation of Loretta Kosar, alternate for District 2, and Pat Puckett, alternate for District 11, because they just moved up. They're now going to be the delegates. The Following members will fill the district delegate and alternate delegate vacancies, term ending on April 2024. District delegate for 2 is Loretta Kosar. District delegate for District 11 is Pat Puckett. District 3, Beverly Snyder. District 9, Linda Vieira. District 11, Janice Wilmison. District 19, Bonnie Seaver. And District 23, Howard Katz. Next is going to be the board report for the treasurer. Oh, we have one more committee, sorry. Leanne McLaughlin has indicated that Wes McDaniel has resigned. I believe he moved away. And we have a replacement to fill that position. It's going to be Jean Dobson. That was also on the consent agenda. Next is the treasurer's report.
I got chastised last month for hanging on to that microphone, so I'll sit closer. In case you hadn't noticed it, the treasurer's report was on the website within 2 days during the month of May of receiving the April financials. I'll go over it a little bit. It's really not earth-shaking. Actually, if I could find a piece of, oh, here we are. In the HOA area, 6 of the 9 cost segments were under budget, notably in water and electricity for $40,000 and the Greenbelt allocation for $23,000. As expected, golf continues to overrun, but this month at a lower rate due to lower water, power, and maintenance costs. Also lower costs in fertilizer and pesticides due to lack of availability, and that probably will continue for a while. Golf revenue was down for the month, negative $4,500. Restaurant revenue increased by about $25,000, bringing revenue nearly to meeting expenses. The restaurant labor was low by $50,000 due to continuing staffing issues. Labor costs to be significantly under budget. The cost of food was at 20.3%, and the cost of sales was at 75%. One of the things that I have done on the treasurer's report, if you haven't seen it, I broke it out so that you've got 3 months worth of data, and I did it by per resident. So there's the totals, especially on the balance sheet. There's all the assets that we talked about, and I broke it down per resident. And I did the same thing in the operations area where you have the budget and the actuals, and then I broke it out by, you have actuals basically for 3 months, and I broke it out per resident. People will say, well, it doesn't add up to the 336. Well, I didn't put the component for the reserves and the CIPs in those areas, so it's going to be about $306 versus the 336. But it's broken out by resident, so you can see the impact of what you're paying and how much it's costing you. The operating account funds increased primarily as a result of unspent funds due to continuing labor underruns. Owners' receivables decreased as owners are getting current on their monthly assessments. Bad debt allowance has decreased and as some debts have been written off. Accounts payable went up due to untimely process of vendor invoices. Prepaid homeowner assessments decreased as owners used prepaids to meet the monthly assessment. The accrued payroll is about the same, meaning the HOA still needs to reimburse First Service Residential for all of March. The last part of March and all of April. Current income shows the combined total of the year-to-date operations, and our surplus for 4 months is at $472,000. We will get a revision to the remaining budget due to FSR misallocating budget funds in September. The current underrun is expected to continue and could result in a huge surplus. The board will be looking at this situation as part of the 2023 budget presentation. One of the things, we got 2 new accounts added to the assets. One is the RV storage lot contracts, where the RV people that use the storage lot are now allowed to pay over time. That's an asset to the Homeowners Association. It'll show up on the balance sheet. Same thing with the annuals, the contracts where the people pay overtime for the annual participation. That will also show up as a contract on the balance sheet. One of the things we're going to do, as I mentioned, if you hadn't noticed it, that the agenda for this open session, specifically, I pushed this specifically so I could get the financials on there, is that when the agenda packet is approved by the board to be released to do the proper notification, the entire packet will be on the website, rather than putting copies of it back there, because in some cases you keep talking 200 or 300 pages. And the agenda for this meeting was posted this morning. What time? 10:30, Jason? Yeah. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Oh wait, one other thing. I'm sorry, Bob. Davis Sterling Act requires the board to review the financials, the income statement, balance sheet, reserves, ledgers, registers, and bank statements. A formal written report documenting the board's review is not required. However, the board must ratify, and we will do this later, ratify the review at the open session. Each month, all board members will receive a handout from the treasurer providing guidance on reviewing the above documents. Right now, I provided to every board member a page and a half on things to look at on the financials, and I told them if they want it, I will send them in an Excel file the individual spreadsheets for the reports that I personally generate as part of my review process, so that from now on they can plug their numbers that they find on the reports into the report format, and they'll have their own version of what the financials are. That concludes my report, Mr. President.
Thank you. Under new business, we're going to review, receive, and file the April 30th financial statement package. I need a motion.
So move.
I'll second.
Any comments from the board? Any comments from the members? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next on the agenda is the charter approval for the Contract Advisory Committee. Sun Lake's Board of Directors wanted to create a new advisory committee called Contract Advisory. The proposed draft is attached for the board's consideration. If approved, this advisory committee will become active. I need a motion to approve the draft charter.
So move.
Second.
Any comments from the members, from the board? Any comments from the members? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the committee members. Committee candidates who were interested filled out the information form and were interviewed and selected, and the following members have been appointed for their terms. But before I mention their names, I need a motion on this particular matter.
I move we approve the committee members.
I'll second that. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the members? Okay, before I would call for a vote, I'm going to let you know who they are. I'm pretty sure we're going to vote for them. Dell Andrews.
If you're here, could you please stand?
Please stand up, and we will applause at the very end. Dell Andrews, Larry Davis, Renell English, remain standing, Bob Hicks, Al Jaskar, Barbara Jesus, and Anthony Peters. I want to give them a big round of applause for stepping up. This is going to be, a lot of work and a lot of time, and I appreciate their involvement. Next is the approval of the Financial Advisory Committee members and the charter. I'm going to have. I thought we did vote. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. I'm going to have Dan do the Financial Advisory Committee.
Myself, Bob, and Lori, we screened and interviewed a number of candidates. We're going to approve them today for the initial complement of the new FAC. One of the things we will also do is approve their draft charter for them to work on. Let me introduce the new committee members before we approve it. Eugene Delmonico, Dory Gartsky, You can stand. Howard Katz. Mary Jo McElwain.
Dan,
Yes?
let go of your microphone.
No. Ron Mitchell, he called and said he wouldn't be able to make it, and Sharon Robinson. Thank you all for volunteering. For your information, I have reserved the multipurpose room at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon for an initial meeting, so you don't want to wait until the third week in June to get started on this. One of the things that we're going to do later on is approve a new charter that's basically going to give the FAC the opportunity to create from scratch their committee. So one of the things we're looking at is one of the impacts of AB 1101, which limits investments, what we can do with our investments. We're looking at possible subcommittees of investments, reserves, operations, and procurement. If the committee, as it stands now, decides that the people that are on it are not enough, we have another pool of residents that could be interested in being on the committee, and we will screen them and interview them, the same process, I know, the same way we did these people. I appreciate the volunteers, and thank you very much. Sorry, Lee.
The next item is the,
Wait, we didn't approve it.
oh,
I'll move we approve the Finance Advisory Committee members.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, Dan. Next is the Common Area Advisory Committee, Landscape Subcommittee. I'm going to make a motion that that matter be tabled. The reason is that the individuals have not been interviewed as of yet, so that will take place within the next month. I'll need a second on that motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is a recommendation from the Recreation Advisory Committee dealing with the lighting in the veranda. They're recommending that we string lights, Edison lights, to be added to the veranda. They would like to see these lights strung over the opening of the clubhouse to the veranda cover. The committee feels that just additional lighting would provide better lighting when events take place on the veranda, improving both the safety and the ambiance. I need a motion in reference to that.
I move that we approve the veranda lighting recommended by the Recreation Committee.
I'll second that. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the membership? All in favor?
Aye.
Item G is a proposed rule change dealing with the speed limit. We're recommending that one single limit be set for the community. This would require an amendment to the rules, Section V, Article V, Section 5.01C. The effect of the proposed rule change, if adopted by the board, will set the speed limit within the community at 20 miles per hour. Not 25 and 20, but 20 throughout. The sub-association fee will still remain at 15 within the subs. If the rule amendment reading is approved, it will be published in the July 22nd edition of Lifestyles. The board will vote upon the proposed amendment at its July 27th open board session. And if the board votes in favor of the rule, it would go into effect August 1st. I need a motion in reference to that. I make a motion that we approve the rule change and speed limit to 20 miles per hour.
Now, are we approving the rule change, or are we approving the reading of the rule change?
It's the same thing.
Basically both.
Both.
Yes, it's both.
I will second that.
Okay. Any further discussion among the members? Or the board? Yes.
Steve Neese, Sunrise Drive. Excuse me. I'm against this for two very simple reasons. Number one, there are many times you're driving down Country Club, which is 25 miles an hour, and there's somebody going 10 to 15 miles an hour, sometimes 20, hopefully, and they don't even realize there's 3, 4, 5 cars behind them. And we have to follow that Sunday driver all the way through Sun Lakes. You can't pass them because of all the curves along Country Club. If you reduce it to 20 miles an hour, which is even below the school zones, you're going to get people going 10 to 15 miles an hour. Second reason, there are no homes along Country Club. There are no driveways backing into Country Club. There are sidewalks all the way along Country Club. It's not a dangerous situation like it is on other streets where you have homes. I hope you would not approve this proposal.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I agree with what he says. This is, we need to take one more look at this. Let's not be hasty here. Well, nobody's hasty, but let's give it one more shot, okay? We're doing okay as it is. Has there been a problem with accidents along there, or what's the situation?
I was going to ask where the stuff is to back this up.
The safety committee has acknowledged recently that there has been recent accident. As Lila said earlier, there was a recent accident, and I know about a year ago there was a rollover on Country Club that went up on his side. So I don't know if it was speed related or not.
Yeah, that's two incidents separated by a lot of time. Let's take another look. Thank you.
Barbara Jesus. Okay, here we go again. If you think 5 miles an hour is going to make a difference, I don't think so. I mean, why do we expect people in the community to act any differently than when they drive outside? So let alone we're going to have to redo signs, repaint things. I mean, we have to have people just count on their insurance. I don't think 5 miles per hour is going to make a difference. I mean, we see people speeding all the time. There's no reason we should expect people to act differently inside than outside. So I think we're just keep going around in circles. Just keep doing the community awareness, keep preaching the line, put up the slow signs, and just hope 2 accidents don't go to 10. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, I have a comment. I'm sorry, Lee, my hands are off it. I'm going to oppose this on the grounds that we did a study a couple of years ago, and everyone thought, oh boy, we're going to catch the speeders. And we found out that probably 5% of the people were going over the speed limit, and most of the excess over 25 miles an hour was within the range of 25 to 30, maybe 31. I'm not sure what the final number was. So we're not talking about, on the average, people racing through here at 50 miles an hour. There are people that do that, I guarantee you. But I don't think across the board we're faced with that problem. I think just leave it like it is, and then if it becomes a real problem with a rash of accidents or whatever, then we change it. Go ahead, applaud if you want to.
I am opposed to this because of the infrequent speeders that I see. What I see on a daily basis are people rolling through the stop signs, running the stop signs, and not adhering to other kinds of rules and driving recommendations. I think this is trying to attack a problem that is non-existent when we leave existing problems in effect.
Hi, my name is Sharon Robinson. I'm with District 10. My concern is I do a lot of walking throughout all of Sun Lakes, and the majority of the speeders that I do see, and I do see them, are guests. They do not have the blue sticker. So I would propose communicating better our speed limit within our community to those coming through our gates. The guests, when they get their pass, should be communicated the speed limits and the expectations of our community to better, hopefully, communicate the speed throughout.
Let me mention that's one of the things that's going to be proposed. On their pass, we're going to give them all the rules and all the regulations and indicate in red bold 20 miles an hour. So we're just trying to make it a little safer, but they will be notified. Thank you.
My name is Al Jazzcar, District 2. I walk my dog every morning between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I live up by Gate 1. I cross the Sun Lakes Country Club at Riviera there by Gate 1. I almost get run over every morning, and most of the time, it's the workers coming in for the golf course. But that crosswalk is very dim. The paint, it needs repainted, it needs some reflective markers on it. I don't know about the sign before that crosswalk coming in the gate, but some of those things could be looked at for the safety of people, not just dog walkers, but everybody crossing at that intersection. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I have a first and a second. I need a vote on that. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
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 3 opposed?
3 opposed? It failed to pass. Thank you. Next item is proposed rule change in reference to private parties. Item came as a recommendation from the Restaurant and Lounge Committee. They met with Recreation as well as Thomas, and recommending change of the rule 6.07 to allow residents to host events for their families, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, etc. If approved, this will go out to the community for a 60-day reading. Need to have a motion in reference to that?
Do you want to read what we're talking about first, other than just that brief summary?
It's about 3 pages long.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Give them kind of a rundown.
Summarize it in 2 sentences.
Basically, what it is that we're going to set up a policy that they can rent and use the rooms, but they have to pay a price, and they have to follow the various rules and regulations. They have to be prioritized behind the other groups and clubs here, and they have to hire when necessary, security personnel. But it gives them the opportunity, to use our facilities here.
What do we need? We need a motion?
Yes.
I'll move for discussion purposes only.
I'll second that. Comments from the board?
Yes, I do. I know this sounds kind of confusing. We used to have a charge, and then that went away. And this is not a charge if Michelle wants to throw a birthday party for Bob. It would be a charge if Michelle wants to throw a birthday party for her great uncle who lives in Seattle and is coming down to visit. So it's that kind of difference. It would still be booked by the resident, because these have to be booked by the resident, but it is for non-resident things. Another prime example that we talked about would be if the city of Banning wants to have a state of the city, which they have done. So has the city of Beaumont. They've both had affairs in here. Those are things that we are looking out, trying to make a little bit of revenue from. So there would be like a room rental charge and that sort of thing. There also would be, if you were going to do an event for your great uncle in Seattle, and you needed to use AV equipment, then there's going to be a charge for that. So it's just trying to not give away the farm. That's kind of what this idea is. It does not affect any clubs. It does not affect any of us who are going to use the space for our own endeavors, if that helps.
Yeah, I would just like to add, same thing as Beverly. The scheduling will be done as such that after all of the clubs, all of the groups, all of the delegates have done their scheduling, the dates that are left over, those will be the dates that will be chosen or given away or honored, whatever.
And this also requires insurance coverage, which is what we require of when Charity Week does their ball drop, the helicopter guy has to have some massive insurance. So it's that kind of thing, just to make it where Sun Lakes is more protected in that instance and has some possible revenue.
Any comments from membership?
Barbara Jesus, one of my favorite issues, opening to the public in some way. So My understanding is that we require them to have $1 million policy of liability. That's chicken feed. If you're not getting a $10 to $15 million policy, then I don't want to open us up to more exposure, because lawsuits today are in the millions, and I don't want to be on that list. Well, I don't mind going the extra dollar for, residents. It's my responsibility, your responsibility, but other people, and I don't mind us making some money and having the public come in, but I think we need to be protected. People apt to sue, whether we're right or wrong, really doesn't matter. We're going to go to court and we're going to have to fight, just like we're doing now for some people who are suing us, not necessarily for liability, but for some other issues. So, no, I think we need to make them carry more liability. That would be my suggestion if you decide you want to proceed on letting more public people in. Thank you.
I'm Ajit Desai. I just have a question. What is the prime purpose of this? Is it as a benefit to residents, or is it to make money? If it is to make money, I'd like to know what is the estimated amount that you expect to bring in? Because if it's a small paltry amount, it's not worth it. On the other hand, if it is for the benefit of residents...
It's for the benefit. It's not a money-making revenue stream at all. It's for the benefit. So if you had a relative and you wanted to give a wedding or something, you would have the opportunity to go ahead and make a reservation and have it here. That's what it's for.
Okay. I suggest you do a survey, to find out how many are for and how many against. Just a suggestion.
Bob, I've got a question. One question I have, Bob, if you know, is has legal reviewed the insurance requirements?
Yes.
Okay.
No? Oh, I thought they did.
No.
I thought they did
Okay,
too.
this is just, we're approving a reading. We're not approving the actual thing. We're just approving the reading of it and for consideration. Yes.
So during the process of having the reading out for the public, we could check with our lawyer to make sure that we haven't shot ourselves in the foot somehow.
What I want to mention is, this year alone, we will have 331 open spaces that are not being used as an event. Our restaurant is on the path now of losing close to $600,000 to $700,000 this year. Filling those spaces on the unused dates would help bring that way down. We have to do something to stop the bleeding. And it's not just parties, it's events. We wanted to change that in there, because there are people that maybe work for a reputable company and someone's retiring from that company. They might want to have a small event, maybe in the veranda. Those kind of events are what we're looking at. The resident is still ultimately responsible for these private events. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe?
No matter how you consider this, the gates of Sun Lakes Country Club is being opened. And I think most people here are opposed to that. I think we ought to look at a number of things, and liability is one of the biggest. We have, over the last 20 years, looked at every aspect of liability, including the EPAP, where we've cut the EPAP, I'm sorry, the EPAP had a number of, I can't even remember. Anyhow.
Training?
Joe, I think what you're saying, as I remember, EPAP cut back a lot of their duties and responsibilities because of the risk of liability.
Okay.
Hence why you can't take anybody to the hospital.
Okay, we could not take patients out to the hospital, to the medical center, or what have you, because of liability, and that was only one instance. We had a number of instances where we had to curtail or cut out on our lawyers' advice. And I think the liability effect alone should be enough. The other thing is that you're going to have weddings here. I just see the word weddings. That means we're going to have a flow of 100 people, 150 people. I don't know that. One last thing, and that is this. I detest anyone mentioning that the food operation of restaurants and the golf courses are liabilities in this complex. They are amenities. And when you moved in here, you moved in to accept the cost of operating them. As far as I am concerned, what we should have for the food and beverage operation is a monthly charge, and that you use that monthly charge or you pay it. And I think that would solve a lot of problems. Thank you.
Master Board, Michelle Walter. If I'm reading this correctly, it says the chair and another member of the Restaurant and Lounge Advisory Committee met with the board at the executive meeting to talk about the idea of having events at Sun Lakes for the children, the grandchildren of residents, meeting weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, and celebrations. It doesn't really say anything here about opening it up to the Rotary Club or anything like that. So I don't really see a big deal. If I want to have a birthday party for my granddaughter, or if I want to have a graduation at the South Clubhouse, why can't we? I think we need to have that open, just like the pool. We have the kids coming in for the pool. We have aunts and uncles coming into the pool. What's the difference of us renting? If I'm going to pay the $250, which we used to do, if I'm correct, we used to have to pay the $250 to rent the room to make sure that nothing was broken and that everything was in repair when we left and things were cleaned up. I think it's a great idea.
Thank you. Any other comments? Yes.
Hi, my name is Sharon Robinson again. I'm actually just, I guess, want to clarify. What you just said is exactly the intent. It is not opening up to the public. It is if you want to have an event, this is your community. You already paid for it, right? So you want to schedule it. It is a private event for yourself and your family, friends, whatever. You're still going to have to supply a list just like estate sales do or anything else. So we know who's coming in the gate. We have their names. If their name's not on the list, they don't get in. That's why we have a gate. So it's a way of creating some additional revenue to offset the cost every time the toilet gets flushed. All the utilities that are on for your private event. That's the purpose of the charge. It is not to rent the room. You own the room. It's yours. We're just making arrangements so that you can have it for a personal event for your event. So that's the point of it. I think it's great. These rooms will get used. You're going to pay for the resources of CARA and the Recreation Department making arrangements for the catering offering that hopefully we're going to be able to provide, which will bring revenue again into the restaurant, allowing more hours for the employees and hopefully keeping them well-staffed and hours and all those good things that come from having people at work. So that is in part the purpose of it, and it has, I think, a lot of background. I wish we could read the entire presentation that was given to the board, and I think it would make it much more clear to everybody here as well. So hopefully that reading will take place.
Thank you. Any other comments before we vote?
Yes, I have a comment.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Victoria just gave an example of someone who works at a business and some person at that business is now retiring and they could do a retirement party here. So that takes it a little bit out of the parameters that, Sherry, you were just mentioning. This isn't, I like the idea of where we're going with this. I just think it needs a little more detail in it. I don't think we've got the parameters clear enough so that, because I've heard like 4 or 5 different approaches today. So I'm not sure all of us are on the same page. That's my concern.
Bob?
Any other comments?
Yes. I know Lee's going to shoot me if I touch this microphone. What we're talking about here is obviously if we decide to allow a purely, and I say pure, outsider, the city chamber wants to come in and have the state of the city here, we're going to charge them. No discussion on that, okay? The problem becomes in the way we've defined who is an outsider. If I book it for me, no problem, no fee. If I book it for my daughter because we're celebrating her birthday, no problem, no fee. If I book it for my granddaughter, is that still in the no problem, no fee? Wait, Sharon, let me finish. What's the cutoff in terms of when we can, what's the extended family limitations that we can use before we say, oops, that's outside the family and we need to have a fee for it? I'm not opposed to the idea. I think that right now we need to spend. What do we do if we turn this down? Okay, well, let's say the current policy is that basically no outsiders unless it's approved by the board. So that means every family request down to the grandchildren up to the grandparents has to come before the board for approval. Remembering that these people are going to be last in line after everybody else gets their reservations in. But still, it's a question of where do we draw the line? That's all I got to say.
Dan, it's my understanding that the fee would be imposed on anyone who is not a resident. So if it were your grandchild or your uncle, they're going to pay the room fee, and they have to use the catering from our restaurant.
As long as they state that it's not for the resident, as soon as they say it's for the resident, no matter what happens, there's going to be no fee. Yeah, so it's.
Let's go ahead and vote on this matter. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed?
I'm opposed with the way it's worded.
The matter passes 3-2. Thank you. Next item is item number...
Mr. President, just as a reminder, this is a reading, so this is not
That's
enforceable
correct.
today.
The matter was for a reading. You know, it's not a done deal. It's just that we're going to read it.
Right. Yeah, but we.
The next thing
Well,
is
no, Bob-
proposed policy change.
Bob, please let me.
Well, it's a done deal.
What we've, I know it's approved, but what we've approved is the reading of what has been approved. It's not, we can't change it.
That's what we just stated.
Yeah.
Next is the proposed policy change on the South Clubhouse parking on Birdie. The Board of Directors has received a recommendation that the golf carts be allowed to park on the east side of the stalls there. And they would need to change the golf cart rules under Article V, Section 4.05 to not apply to this area, and thus a policy change is only needed by the Board of Directors. If the board approves, the golf carts would be allowed to park on those parking stalls along Birdie Drive. A map has been attached. So if you're going down Birdie Drive, it's going to be on your right-hand side, right above the tennis courts, you know, and right next to the clubhouse. So instead of cars only, you now can use your golf carts there. I need a motion to approve them. I make a motion that we approve the request for parking of golf carts on Birdie Drive.
I'll second.
Any comments? Comments from the board?
Yep, yes. One of the things that's going to happen when we had the delegate assembly meetings down there, you couldn't get a parking space on the streets. And if you had a car, you had to go park on a side street. The golf carts parked around in the back. And I understand that one of the reasons for this is because it's difficult for some of the older people that have to park there with their golf carts to walk up those stairs, especially if it's in the weather, or it's raining or something like that. The signs on the parking spaces in the front say licensed carts only. So this is another one of those situations where it makes it easier for the older people to get out of their carts if they park on the street close to the clubhouse, but it also makes it difficult to find parking spaces for the older people that come in their cars. I wish Solomon was here to figure this one out.
Well, the golf carts take up less space. Basically, it's just more convenient.
But we're not talking about.
It's more convenient for people that some only have a golf cart. and if they want to come down, at least now they would be permitted.
Mr. President, are you talking about restriping at the same time? Because the golf carts take up less space.
Whatever is necessary. At this point, we're just reviewing whether or not that would be appropriate for our residents. Any other comments? Yes, please.
I'll speak quickly. Steve Neese, Sunrise Drive. I got to be under 3 minutes. Where have all the signs gone along Birdie? They have been taken down. The ones that say, quote, no unlicensed parking allowed, unquote. The reason has always been simple. Only licensed automobiles and golf carts have been allowed. It's worked for 30 years. The signs along Myrtle Beach are also removed. That seems very strange. This has been done before the subject has even been brought up today. Why did the board take these signs down before there's been a chance for homeowners to express their opinion? Let's take a look at the parking presently. We've lived here for 18 years. We have never seen the allowed parking for golf carts ever to be full. Let me repeat, never. So why do you want to expand the golf cart parking even more? There are 40 spaces for golf cart parking on the west side of the clubhouse. That includes 27 golf cart spaces and the other 13 spaces. That's 40. That's 44% of all the parking around the south clubhouse. Is that not enough? You now want to allow 74 parking spaces for golf carts. That will now be 81% of all parking. That's 74 spaces out of the 91 there. Why? You are cutting out parking of automobiles from parking there. How will you handle all the functions that occur at the South Clubhouse if you change this? Cars will not be allowed to park at the clubhouse except along Myrtle Beach when the golf carts take all the spaces. They will now have to park on the streets and walk to the clubhouse. That does not seem like a smart proposal, forcing older people to have to now park on the streets and walk to the South Clubhouse for a function. This proposal makes no sense whatsoever. There must be an ulterior motive. I hope the board will let us know what it is. As I say, this makes no sense whatsoever. We are asking you not to approve this proposal. If someone with a golf cart wants to park there, let them go to DMV, get a license, as dozens of other people have as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Basically, what transpired in reference to your comment is that the Mark and the staff were overzealous because it was just a recommendation, and they assumed it was just a recommendation that was made earlier, and they took the signs down. They should not have taken the signs down. They were in error in doing that.
And put them back.
Thank you. Yes.
I assume that this also means that the parking on the west side of the South Clubhouse will now be opened up for all those parking places to cars, because if golf carts are going to be allowed on the east side to make up for those lost parking places, cars will have to be able to park in all 31 or 41 parking places on the west side.
They have to be restriped.
One of the comments was for the older people taking the steps and whatnot. How about if we let golf carts with proper identification that they are for the handicapped park in the car spaces, not opening up to all of them, but the ones that need the access? And that would probably alleviate a lot of the problems if we would just allow somebody that has the blue card to put on their golf cart and park there so that they can easily access the building.
Thank you.
Can I just make one quick comment on that? You say alleviate the problem. Is there a problem that I'm unaware of about parking there, or is it just people with golf carts want to park there? I mean, I didn't know there was a problem with not being able to park there as a golf cart.
You're not allowed to unless you have a license.
Oh, I understand that, but I didn't know that. I don't have a license, and I always park in the golf cart parking.
Yeah,
the only time I've seen it full is when Legs is there.
There's 40 spaces on the west side for golf carts. But if I may comment on John, where'd you go? John's comment, he is absolutely right. You can do this. There's no question. If you have a golf cart that has a handicap sticker on it, You are allowed to park anywhere in Sun Lakes, anywhere, not just at the South Clubhouse. You are allowed to park in handicap parking. You are allowed to park at the South Clubhouse along Birdie, along Myrtle Beach, or at the main clubhouse. A handicap sticker by law allows you to park anywhere in Sun Lakes you want. So if there is,
As long as you're not impeding traffic or in a red zone, fire zone.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jim.
Any space.
You're more technical than me. If you, no, I know. In a red zone, you're right, you can't park in a red zone. But that is the law in California. So to comment that, Beverly, is if you want to allow a golf cart to park by the steps, and he has a handicap sticker, he's allowed to park there. End of discussion. So don't turn the whole thing into golf cart parking to allow somebody with a handicap sticker to park there. You're overdoing it.
Thank you.
My name is Millie Hunter, and I spend a lot of time at the South Clubhouse for the pool and also bunco and other issues. And basically, it's all cars that come there to park. Now, you have the back parking lot that they can walk up to the clubhouse from. On Birdie, you've got to either go down the steps or take the long way around on the ramp. So how long is it going to take you to get around the ramps, and who wants to go down 4 or 5 steps if you're handicapped? So I think it's very, very elusive here. And of course, it says a map of this area is attached on this paperwork we have. There is no map. So I think it's presumptuous for them to do something like this without more input from the community. I think it's unfair to the community at large, and just for special people, or who got this on the agenda today. I think it's time to say no.
Any other comments before we vote?
The last comment I want to make is just, as you said, the signs came down inadvertently.
Correct.
The Myrtle Beach would not be affected by this per the way this is written. It is only the spots on Birdie.
Yeah, and it's not going to be reserved for golf carts only. It just allows golf carts to park there. It's open for both. The cars can still use it. Yes.
Yeah, Al Jaskar again. I would think that you would have a meeting with all the handicapped people that are concerned about this issue to find out what their real concerns are and if there are other solutions.
I don't think this is targeting just handicap, because Steve made a very good point. You can park wherever you want if you've got a handicap sticker. And if I understand this correctly, and I don't know what brought this on, but it's to allow golf carts to park there, more parking for the golf carts. I'm not sure what brought this about, Bob, making that change of taking that away?
I think convenience for golf carts.
Oh, convenience for golf
I
cart
think it was
drivers.
just convenience for for people that were going there utilizing it that only had golf carts, that's all. But it wasn't to deny the cars from parking there.
And I have been here 22 years with the way the parking is now at the South Clubhouse. Am I not speaking loud enough?
You have to speak into it.
I think the obvious is people that have golf carts are probably more agile than those that get in their Lexus, Cadillac to come to dinner. Reason stands that most of those people are golfers, not all, but to say that we're going to put golf carts on Birdie is outrageous. We have large cars that need parking, and certainly not in front of the homes. We don't want to send those people. Many people that come in cars are walking with a walker, canes, etc., and not jumping in and out of golf carts. So be reasonable. This is an absurd change that came out of nowhere. Some cloud that flew over, somebody had an idea and they said, let's do this. Think twice before you vote for something so silly.
So what I'm hearing is that we might want to table this and do a little more research rather than vote on it at the present time.
So moved.
I will make an amended motion that this matter be tabled. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh,
Any other discussion on tabling it? All in favor?
Aye.
The matter is tabled. Thank you.
they will put the signs back up?
Next is funding for camera layout mapping. The prior Board of Directors wanted to review our current camera needs to develop an RFP for replacement and expansion of cameras. The attached quote from Securitas will authorize their engineers to develop the mapping for the RFP, system network recommendations, and specs for the RFP. The total cost is $8,500. The board approved this at the April 27th executive session. The item now needs to have funding approval. I need a motion on that.
So move.
I'll second.
Any comments? If approved, this project would be funded out of the capital improvement funds.
Just one comment. We're finding that cameras are becoming more and more crucial in every area around here, and right now we're inadequate with it. What this does is allow Securitas to map it out. It does not give them the award to create it, to do it. All they're doing is giving us the quote on the pre-bid design consult. They're just designing. So then we can go out to a different vendor if we choose to accept that. So it's not Securitas, it's just this bid.
Correct, just engineering mapping at this point.
And we would own that, as if we were to change security companies or go with an outside camera company,
Correct.
we would own that work already.
No other comments? All in favor? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Stand up, Barbara. Just walk right up here, Barbara.
And the reason that we're not doing this with 3 vendors to do the mapping is because Securitas is on site and they have hands-on, and it's under the $10,000 limitation. So Chris could have done it based on board authority already without it coming to us. And I'm assuming that it'll come out of CIP funds.
Dan, you're
Yes,
correct.
as I previously mentioned, it comes out of capital improvement project funds.
Right, and this, like you said, this will be a map that we will keep as the community. That way we can go out and have an RFP put together for this, if this is the way the board goes. However, if Securitas was awarded that 8,500 would go to pay for some of that. But the main thing is to have that map that we don't currently have of where security cameras should be and the layout of them.
Barbara?
Barbara Jesus. This whole thing about cameras bothers me. Has anybody been ever arrested because of a camera picture we gave the police department? Really? So did they have a record? I don't know if I could ask that. Okay, because we haven't heard much about that, and I think that goes with giving us more security information about what's happening, because offhand, I think, unless the person has a record, you don't necessarily get to do anything with your picture. I think some of us know that from experience. So I don't know if putting more cameras is the answer, especially if you can't get the police department to show up and arrest the person. As far as this contract goes, I don't know. They want $8,000 to tell us where to put cameras. If they don't get the contract, we get the report for the $8,500 or whatever it is. And then how do we know if we go to another company, then do we have to do that report over again, or we can give that report to the next company and there's no deficiencies in anything and it wouldn't cost us anything extra? So that was just a couple of the issues I had. Are the cameras really working for us? And maybe the contract was kind of questionable, and that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The thing about the cameras, Barbara, they are also a way for everybody to be honest, if that's correct. I mean, you're going to get, there's always 3 sides to a story. So you're always going to get this person's version, and a camera is going to give you visuals on whatever transpired. So they're helpful in that way. All of our officers wear body cams. I don't know that this involves that. I think these are more stationary cameras.
Stationary,
Yeah.
correct.
Relative to security in general and these cameras, I think this is probably a very good project for your new contract review committee. You know, we spent, I believe, and correct me if you need to, I believe we spent $50,000 on a new man cave with cameras up by the main gate for our security people to look at. Since that time, we've added cameras in the main clubhouse and other areas. But we continue to have thefts of electronic equipment out of the main clubhouse over the years. We've had ice machines stolen out of the main part of the golf course. We've had ladies, I believe, that were on the sidewalk all night. We have U-Haul trailers pulling up to houses to try to steal. I don't see that these cameras, and plus we've had thefts over and over in the RV lot. I think somebody needs to do an independent review, not Securitas, because I don't have a whole bunch of faith in Securitas. I think they're gate checkers, to be perfectly honest with you. I think somebody needs to do a correct analysis, an independent analysis on do cameras work, as Barbara said, number one, and number two, where should they be placed, and what do we do if we have cameras? Because they're obviously not being reacted to. We got cameras everywhere, and we still have thefts. That's my comment.
When it was presented to us, Don, about the cameras, our current cameras are analog, very old, and very not even great pictures on some areas, according to the consultant. So one of the goals is to get fully digital and so forth. So that's one of the, just an added goal.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, so there I go again. Who approved those inferior cameras, and what are we doing? Who's looking at them? Who's responding to them? And why is Securitas recommendations going to be any different than what we have right now? You need a security professional to come in here, get a contract written up for them to do an analysis so that we own it and we can dictate how they want to do it. I don't think Securitas is the right company to do this. We can't trust them.
Don, just to kind of answer a little part of that. So you guys gone to Costco or whatnot, and do you see those little home security things that have like 8 cameras in them or whatnot? Got about 5 of them in this clubhouse. That's what we run off. The reason that you're looking at something that you want to map out, you want to wire out that can be read and seen by the call center. So it's up on the screen and cameras are up on it all the time. Currently, right now, the way it is, it's an event-based. If I hear of something being stolen or something happening, I go and look at the camera. Nobody's actively looking at cameras right now.
I know that.
Yeah.
I get that, and I think that needs to be part of the contract review. First of all, Securitas is going to want more money to watch cameras, and I think we just need to review it and do due diligence like we didn't do when we bought the last set of cameras, and as you already alluded to, nobody's looking at the cameras, so why buy more cameras?
Well, that's what this would do. This would incorporate to where, and again, this is not the camera RFP. This is a mapping, kind of like how the designer kind of laid out, you know, how you increase the lounge or whatnot. That's all this is. It's just a guideline that we as the community can take to other companies and say, this is our community, this is a map of it, this is a map of where we would like to see cameras. Go ahead and bid on it.
It's not that I'm disagreeing with the concept. I'm disagreeing with the fact that you're going to give a company that hasn't shown any degree of responsibility in securing us to do it. You need an independent person and a contract written on what they're going to actually do. It's $8,500 to get absolutely nothing that's going to show that we're going to be successful.
But Don, this isn't a contract. We're not signing a contract.
It's
This is just-
$8,500.
Oh, and I know, and we could probably go out for bid and.
I think you should.
And see what everybody else chooses, and this is actually, I think, a fairly decent price, but we could spend the time and money.
I don't
and
know
go
why
out
you
and
think
see
it's a good
who's higher.
price. If
But
you
all
haven't
they're
gone
doing is saying-
outside, how do you know it's a good price?
You're right, but what they're saying is you need 3 in here, and this is where you need them. That's all
Who's
they're
they?
saying.
Who's they
Whomever
say we
does
need
this.
3?
Okay, what we're going to do now is
That's an
take a
example.
couple more comments and then vote on the matter, because it's going to be dark shortly.
I'm very happy to say that I'm finally 100% in favor of what you're proposing. We need more cameras, and I'll give you a quick example. Why? We bought a new car, parked in the parking lot, came out from the restaurant, smashed. A truck hit it. Why a truck? When we took it to the body shop, he looked at it and he says, a truck backed into it. So I got Securitas, they said, no problem, we got a camera in the parking lot. went in, looked at the video. He says, unfortunately, the camera's not pointed. I see your car, and I see the trucks going by, but unfortunately, we can't see which one hit you. He says if we had more cameras around this parking lot, we could tell who's doing the damage, catch the bad guys, and get them out of here. Please vote in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob Hicks, I live on the north side. My general comment, it goes back to the fact that this conveniently is below the $10,000 threshold. Very close to it, but below it nonetheless. And earlier I've spoke to many people who really believe that this would be an ideal kind of thing to assign to an ad hoc committee. In other words, members of our own community go do the research, including potentially looking at other vendors to do it, rather than just using the vendor that happens to be convenient. So I am not against having more cameras, but by the same token, while I was standing up here getting ready to make those comments, it's kind of evolved from the fact that it's not just the issue, evidently, of identifying locations, but it's also an issue of laying the groundwork for upgrading the cameras themselves. So this looks like a potential mushroom, and I would much prefer it done by members of our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Some history. Was in the restaurant industry for 25 years with 16 different locations, and we had cameras everywhere. Back of house, front of house, parking lot. So critical in protecting the liability aspect for our community. The theft aspect, as Beverly was saying, it's preventative. Cameras are preventative. They're going to keep, hopefully, honest people honest, and it'll make the not so honest think twice. And if they do think twice and choose poorly, we have proof to catch them with. So sometimes, yes, it's a tool to go back and catching them, but it's also hopefully preventing them as well. My question in regards to this ruling today is most companies who want your business will come out and give you an estimate for free. So why are we paying them $8,500 to get a contract? That I don't understand. So I guess I would just say, go up, put it out to bid. Say, hey, we're looking at expanding our current camera coverage within our community. Would you like the opportunity to come give us a bid? It would give us a check on the current company where there's been voicing of some concerns in regards to that already about their confidence in that. So it would give others to come in and be able to do that, and we could hopefully get that bid for free. Thank you.
Sherry, that's valid. I think this $8,500 guarantees that it's our property, not the property of the person who's giving us a bid for free.
Yes, but if they're giving you an estimate, they're going to have to supply the detail in regards to, if they're saying, hey, you need 30 cameras, what 30 cameras and where? They're going to supply that. So they're giving you, so you're going to have, let's say, 3 vendors giving you 3 different free mapping. So then you can compare those and make the decisions that best suit our needs and what we're using that purpose for. So at least that, in my years of experience in dealing with contracts, helps. And also in that, I have been to court and represented the company I was employed with many, many times, more than I could actually count. And I often won because I had video footage, and I have supplied video footage to the police department many, many times. So it wins their cases in criminal cases as well as in liability cases as well. Thank you.
Rating Crutchman, District 7. I don't think anyone here is opposed to cameras. What I'm opposed to is we keep being told that Securitas is a neighborhood watch kind of, or community watch company. They are not a security company. So why would we go to them to make recommendations on where we would put the security cameras? We need to get someone who is expertise is real security and have them come in and do this recommendation before you even do the mapping.
Thank you. We hear you, and we're going to do an amendment to the motion. I'm going to make an amendment that the matter be tabled and referred over to the new contract committee for review and recommendation. I need a second on that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, item number K, recommendation from the GAC in reference to bridge repairs on the executive course. The bridges on hole number 4 and 6 need to be repaired. They're recommending that we totally replace them, the wooden slats, and with the composite flat. But the problem is in our statement of what we have for the what's set aside, there's nothing for total replacement. It's only for repair and painting. So I would like to motion that we approve the recommendation that that matter be repaired and painted, but not totally replaced, because we don't have any funds set aside for, for that. I need a second.
You want to approve the recommendation
I need
because
a
they're
second on
recommending?
what I just motioned.
Okay.
I will second that.
Okay.
Discussion?
Yeah, so all we're doing right now is we're accepting their recommendation. We're going to go out and explore.
Can you use your microphone, Dan, so we can all hear you?
So all we're doing is, you have to leave.
It's not on.
And can you turn it on?
Let me start this over one more time. All we're doing right now is accepting their recommendation that we need to do this, and we're going to go out and get the appropriate bids and the other information to make an intelligent decision. Yes or no?
So basically what we're doing, we made the motion that it's going to be repaired, not replaced, and it's going to be painted because we don't have any funds set aside for total replacement. And we will get some bids on that matter.
So we'd have a clear idea of what
Yes.
that looks
So
like.
I have a first and a
What does
second
paint mean?
to repair and paint the bridges on 4 and 6 on the executive course. Any other comments? Yes.
Come up to.
Come on up.
Come on, Barbara.
Put your chair right next to it.
Barbara, from now on, when you have a comment, just start walking up here.
No, this is just minor. I would think it would be in the reserves. How come it's not in the reserves? Am I missing something?
What's in the reserves is set up for
this item.
but they're not total replacement.
It's not? Why not?
Well, it's not.
I was just curious.
We're going with what the reserves has set aside for it.
Okay, well, let's just take it out of the capital improvement and make something new out of it.
No, we probably need to take a look at that and add something to there. I can't believe that we don't have something that.
Just not broken down.
Yeah. to
But it
replace those
can
bridges.
readily be repaired. I mean, it's not totally broken down.
Yeah, it's just not broken down in the reserves, Barbara.
Okay, I think that on the committee at the GAC, we were told that 10 years after they constructed those bridges, we were to be able to replace those boards, the planks. I mean, there's holes in them.
Yeah.
I don't know where the paint part came, but Mark was looking into a better quality of wood, maybe not wood, but some sort of composite material to replace those. But we were under the assumption that the board, or that we had the money somewhere, and it was a contract, 10 years, replace them. So, no.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, the paint is for the metal part of the bridge, the repair is for the wood part. Yes.
Yes. But it's repair, it's not replacement.
I think everybody that's played the front nine at the golf course there probably identifies as the most beautiful front nine in Sun Lakes, at least some of us. And to just repair those bridges seems to be a disservice to that environment. If you could come up with the funds to replace those with some beautiful bridges to enhance the quality of view of the golf course, I think that would be beneficial to everyone.
Thank you. Any other comments before we vote? Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Matter passes. Next item from the GAC is cart path repairs. The championship course has 3 areas where the cart path needs to be repaired. Number 7 at the tee box is on championship course. Number 5 and 6 at the green and tee box. And number 15 at the green. I need to have a motion to approve that.
So move.
I'll second that. Any discussion from the board? Any discussion from membership?
I would like to know more detail on what this means. Repair or replacement of the cart path, but what else is going to get repaired and replaced as we repair and replace the cart path? I'd like a little more definition on, does that mean you're digging up tree roots? Does that mean trees are going to have to go? Because half the time when the cart path is chewed up by tree roots, that's what that means. So I'd like a little clarification on, some more detail on this, what this means.
Beverly, I went on the tour with the GAC, and then Joanne, I'd love to hear from you afterwards. The, on number 7 is really bad. There's about a 5-inch rise between panels that you actually bump over with your golf cart, especially if you happen to have a golf cart that has lower profile tires, you really feel it. And so that's one area. And
Okay,
I believe,
and when that, I drive over that too, but what has caused that? Because if you don't remove the cause, then you're just doing cause.
right.
So
I
what
believe,
caused that?
and Joanne can correct me if she remembers differently, that there's 3 trees that would be removed at that. They're I would call them mid-mature trees. They're not big, really big ones, but they're not small ones either. So that would be the number 1 priority that the GAC was talking about, as well as on the between number 5 and 6. When you go from the number 5 green to the number 6 tee box, it's already at an angle. There's a large pine tree, and there was talk about doing root blocking there rather than removal of that big. Then that is a big pine tree.
That is a big pine.
And then the last one was 15, and this is the priority, assuming we have enough money in the reserves, which I believe we have $45,000 budgeted this year for it. Is same thing, tree root, most likely, tree root in water causing lift right there by one of the trees where the gate is, where you drive your golf cart onto the path.
So I just think we need to be transparent with that. When we're
I
going
covered
out
it,
and
Joanne.
when we're going out and telling everybody that we're going to repair cart paths, I think we need to be transparent enough to say, this is what that means.
How
This
about if
tree's
we-
going, this tree's going, this tree's going, we're tearing up this part. We need to make it a full picture, not
Maybe-
just repair the cart path.
Mr. President, if I may, maybe if we had pictures along with the recommendations like this in the future, it would, because you all are going to get this, the next time we put an agenda on. And if I was out in your shoes, I'd say, boy, a picture would be worth 1,000 words at this point in time to see exactly what the damage is and what has to be taken care of. So if we had pictures to further explain this, we'd be home free. We'd say, yeah, go for it.
And Randy, you were there. Would this also include the grinding down of any of the cart path that's sticking up?
Could I make
Go
a
ahead.
comment on that?
Jason wanted to answer that
Yeah,
one.
I just want to let you guys know that this isn't approving for the work to be done. This
Correct.
is just approving for staff to go out and look at
Correct.
what it's going to cost and bring it back to you as the
Get bids.
board.
Right.
Correct.
But
And-
it would, I still want the pictures, Jason.
And there, to answer your question, there was discussion about some grinding. Apparently, according to Mark Birchfield, it's been hard to find anybody that will do grinding right now for some reason.
Let's go ahead and vote on this. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes. Next, the Sun Lakes Credit Book expiration. Director of Golf Brian Garlington brought it to our attention that prior to COVID, the board did away with expiration of any script or member may have. Prior to that, script expired December 31st of the following year. So if a script was acquired during '22, it would expire December 31st, 2023. It is a recommendation of the Director of Golf that the board bring back this expiration date. This would mean that if approved, script from 2022 would expire on December 31st, 2023. Currently, in total script, we have about a balance of $44,000. And this is the recommendation of our Golf Pro. I need a motion on that.
I move that we approve the credit book expiration to expire the following year that you receive it.
I'll second that. Any comments from the board? Comments from the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the replacement of cardio equipment at the South Clubhouse. And I think we have one of the board members that was involved in that, and she's going to go ahead and read what that entails. Lori?
Yeah. Okay, basically what this entails
user.
is replacement of 3 treadmills, 2 elliptical machines, and 2 stationary bikes at the South Clubhouse. We have a bid for $25,000. We currently have in our reserves $48,000 allocated for this. And the cardio equipment at the South Clubhouse needs to be replaced. The cardio equipment is at the very least 10 years old or older. As it sits right now, the repairs that are needed on the recumbent bike are around $2,000. And this year, each treadmill will need a new belt and deck. That expense is around $1,500 to $2,000 per treadmill. There's 4 treadmills in there now. With the repairs that are needed, in addition to any others that might come up this year due to their age, it is suggested that the cardio equipment be replaced. With new cardio equipment, we will receive a 3 to 5 year warranty, depending on which company we decide to go with. The Cybex, and that's, 3 to 5 year warranty, depending on which company the board decides to go with.
Thank you. And this was the best bid of all the 5 bids that we received, and it was recommended by Jason, our expert in the recreational equipment area. So I think we should favorably consider it. So I need to have a motion for this.
Bob, I'll move that we vote to replace the cardio equipment at the South Clubhouse with the bid for $25,561.48 from Premier.
I'll second that. Any discussion?
$25,561.48.
Barbara, just move your chair over there.
Yeah, really.
No, I just want to take the opportunity to thank the new board for providing all the documentation, and Jason for all the work, and Tammy, thank you.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and vote on that matter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is a request here for management received an email from member Nellie Van Lomo asking if Retired Public Employees Association of California can meet in our ballroom on a quarterly basis. And I think we have Nellie right here to explain what that entails.
Mr. President and Master Board, yes, I am the requester of this event. I am the area director for the Inland Empire for RPEA, which is Retired Public Employees Association of California. Those of you that receive a CalPERS pension, I represent you in the district Inland Empire. I am privy to information of how many CalPERS annuitants live in Sun Lakes, and there are many. I've been a resident of Sun Lakes for 5 years, and I've made many friends that are retirees with a pension from CalPERS. So I would like to request that the board approve a satellite chapter here at Sun Lakes until we get the momentum going. Eventually, the chapter will get huge.
Do you have a group right now at CalPERS from Sun Lakes?
We have not. We just closed out the Hemet chapter, and some of those members I want to bring over. And I would be a satellite chapter to the Riverside chapter, which meets at the Go Ski Center in Riverside. And for us, that would be too far to go. But to start a CalPERS RPA chapter here would be beneficial for a lot of us. Eventually, when the chapter gets bigger and maybe have many more members, you have to also consider that outside members will be coming in. That would be one of your things to think about. We would utilize, the restaurant, your clubhouse, and these are all seniors that are coming in from the outside, and they would look at Sun Lake's facility, how a nice facility we are and maybe like to move here, use that as a marketing tool too. But I ask for your approval to hold a chapter here at Sun Lakes. I would be the head of it. I'm a resident here. And like I say, eventually it would probably be huge, almost like a city of Banning's state of the city address. If any of you have questions, I'm
Anyone
here.
have any questions? Yes. Sure, if we can hear you.
Bob won't appreciate it. Bob and Lee won't appreciate it. They want you on the microphone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that all the people at home can see your lovely face and hear your beautiful voice.
Okay, so we're just trying to understand this a little bit based on our private party room policy. This is a political organization, so I would think 6.8 would apply, which really isn't very beneficial to them. So you will have to consider which rule you're going to go under, 6.07 or 6.08, because the intent of the rule of 6.8 was to absolutely discourage, in my opinion, from political organizations coming in and using our facilities. They can't use the restaurant. There's a lot of can'ts in here, which I think was intentionally put in there. So you would really have to look at these two rules to decide to let a political, which in her own letter says it's political, then you would have to address that first, so.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other comments?
I have one question, Bob. At this point, would the procedural, and again, I'm still learning some of the new the procedures, but procedure would be to possibly apply for a group first and let it start with at least let it start there, and then, through the recreation department, and then move forward from there.
Yes,
before it comes back to us.
That don't allow that.
Yeah, if you were a group, you might be allowed, but right now, since you're not a group, we wouldn't be able to accommodate. Yes.
I am a member of that group, and I am a retired probation officer. These are people who spent, in my case, 30 years protecting the community, and we are retired. We are not a political group. We are simply staying together because we were together for so long. We don't have any agenda. We are only a retired group that likes to get together. I don't know if we have to get together 4 times a year. That might be something you would consider, but I drive all the way to Orange County to be with the people that I served with it's like the police or something like that I served with for 30 years. It's not a political group. It's simply a group that has spent a lot of years protecting the community and wants to continue to make connections with each other.
Thank you. I'm a retired probation officer, a member of, however, we have to adhere to the rules here. And the rules here is that you would have to go through the recreation department and get approval to be a group, and then you could make the reservations. So that's what we have to do. We have to go through that particular process. Any other comments? Yes, I understand that, but we have to be a group within in order to make the reservations and have the events here. So at this time, I would refer the matter to the Recreation Department.
One question. When would your next scheduled luncheon be, for example?
There's none scheduled. I'm waiting for approval. I'm going through the process, like Mr. President said. We have to form the group, then go from there.
How many people are currently in your group?
There's not any. I am going to be working on that. Sun Lakes residents and anyone in Banning in the Beaumont area.
I hear what you're saying, and I completely understand that. My dad was a teacher, so I get it. With the CalPERS, but I would have a challenge telling you, yes, you can have the luncheon before I have a chance to look at our CC&Rs and our rules and regs to verify that, in fact, we're not stepping over the boundaries. Because I know there are some rules about not being a group if you are an outside entity, which you guys would be. So I would want to look into that before I said, yes, you can do it, or no, you can't.
I would like to make a motion in reference to this request, is that they be referred, be tabled, not denied, but tabled and referred to the Recreation Department for their recommendation.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So we're not denying you,
Yeah.
we're just going through the process that's necessary. Thank you. The next item is item P, computer hardware replacement. I think this is Jason's.
Bear with me.
And that's why it's Jason's.
That's
why he's
what
not
I figured, Bob. Okay, the Android tablets purchased for the Master Architectural Committee in 2018 were due to be replaced in 2021. Due to lack of product availability, the committee members have continued using the 18 tablets to date. The performance of these outdated tablets is beginning to cause difficulties for the committee. The battery no longer holds a charge for a full day under regular use. The system responsiveness is slowing as app updates require more processing ability, and some screens have degraded, making them difficult to view and interact with. Dell Business has Samsung Galaxy Tablet A8 available for purchase. The proposed replacement tablets have a screen of 10.5 inches. The clarity is better than the ones that are currently being used. The tablets are Wi-Fi only, 32 gigs of memory. I don't want to read the stuff that's pertinent and not all the data stuff that you guys are probably not interested in. The proposed tablets will be compatible with the committee's needs upon arrival and only need to be registered to the Planning and Compliance Department for immediate use. No subscription or paid membership is required for the use of deployment of the tablets, and they are physically compatible with the tablets cases already in use. The cost of the replacement tablets, I know that we looked at Best Buy. We looked at that today, and at the same time, Tanisha found the tablets for a little cheaper through Dell. They put them back on sale this week. So she was able to get them for a total, if approved, a total of $1,163.64 instead of the proposed $1,510.89. Should the replacements be purchased, the old tablets will be factory reset and evaluated for possible resale to recoup some costs.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the purchase of the tablets for $1,163.64.
I think it was a little, he just said it was 1,100 something.
I just said
Oh, okay.
$1,163.64.
So moved.
Second, any other comments in reference to that? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is the billiard chairs. The Lori's going to go ahead and do that. That's her area of expertise.
This is the ratification of the billiards chairs. The 10 bar stool chairs that were ordered for the billiards room were installed immediately. Our pool players and residents said that they were not well suited for the billiards room and that they were sliding off of them. It became a severe safety issue, actually. With that, resident Barry Sorensen, who is the captain of the billiards group, sent an email to management with a few different types of chairs that the billiards players would like and approve of. After a brief discussion during board member comments, the spectator chair was what the board preferred along with the billiards group. Staff was directed to try to work with the other company to return the 10 bar stools or to find another area where they could be utilized. Additionally, staff was directed to purchase the spectator chairs from Heritage Billiards at a cost of $419 per chair for a total of $4,525.39. These chairs have been delivered, and this will be funded from the reserve fund.
I need a motion to approve that. I'll make a motion. We approve the purchase of the chairs for $4,525.
Ratification.
Excuse me, ratification.
I'll second.
Any other comments? Comments from the membership? All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the Recreation Advisory Committee has requested that we put travel posters in the bus room, which I think is a good idea. At their April meeting, the committee discussed the lack of ambiance in the room, and it was suggested we ask our travel partners to provide the posters. The committee would ask that no travel agency advertise, but just put posters. There would be no cost to us. I need a motion to approve their request.
I move we approve that request.
I'll second.
Any discussion among the board? Comments? Comments from the audience, membership? Let's vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is homeowner comments. I do have one here from Sharon Robinson.
And just a reminder, as you know, you have 3 to 5 minutes. Tammy is timing you.
It's a 3-minute.
Yeah, 3 minutes. And Jason is going to flash cards at you.
I think you all know how fast I can talk. So hello again, Master Board members. Last year, the Restaurant and Lounge Committee was tasked with seeking feedback from our community regarding the restaurant and lounge. In January, their survey results were published in the Lifestyles magazine, showing the majority of those that responded would like to see a fine dining and casual focus with a traditional contemporary design. The next step was then to name the restaurant and lounge, and with names submitted by the residents themselves. It was exciting to see the numerous creative responses to this request. The long list was narrowed down, and again, the community was asked to vote for their favorite. The results were Mountain View and the Oasis being selected, and then Mulligan's and Bogies coming in as second choices. What some of the community may not have been aware of was the fact that the Lakes Assisted Living Facility across the street also has a restaurant named the Oasis. And as many residents at the lakes were once homeowners here and have friends or families still here in Sun Lakes, we realize that this may cause confusion for many. Also, there is a Mountain View Cemetery less than 5 miles from us. I think everyone here would agree that we don't want to be confused with that. So, with that being said, in April 27th's open session, board meeting, the approval of the new name for the restaurant and lounge came before the board for a vote. The vote was tabled, and the reason given was in consideration of the possible remodeling and expansion of the restaurant and lounge. Respectfully, that could take years to come to fruition, if ever. So we are once again asking the board to move forward with the vote and consider the naming of the restaurant with Mulligan's and the lounge with Bogies. These names tie in with our Sandwedge restaurant, and they brand all three with the theme of a country club golf community, which is exactly what the Sun Lakes is. So the names also will lend themselves to some creative marketing opportunities, such as, come to Mulligan's, give it another shot. Or Bogies, more than par for the course. And lastly, Bogies, just one more shot, please. Respectfully, Sharon Robinson and the Restaurant and Lounge Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? That leaves us, yes, go ahead. Ajit?
I'm Ajit Desai. I want to second Barbara's comments.
Microphone.
Yeah, I want to second Barbara's comments, Barbara Jesus' comments on the fact that you put together a very nice document with all the background that must have taken a lot of effort from Jason, Tammy, and all of y'all. So congratulations on that. That helps a lot. Secondly, I wanted to say that we completed a very comprehensive survey on restaurants and strategy for restaurants. About 320 people participated. And thank you very much for everyone who participated. The average time taken was about 15 minutes, and the number of questions asked was about 34. So we put together a detailed presentation. I made that presentation to Bob, Laurie, and a few others. But a number of others need to get involved also. I made a commitment to all those who participated that I would provide a detailed report to everyone who participated and a summary report to the community. So I'm waiting for further instructions from the board, and in due course of time, we hope to put together a good strategy to bring the losses under control. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? We'll go ahead with director comments. Dan?
As you can see, we're making lots of changes. We're trying to be more transparent and get information out. I think Jason did a hell of a job this morning in getting the agenda for this session uploaded right after we approved it. This is what we intend to have happen from now on, that when the agenda is posted, the backup documentation that we see, you'll see. Okay? Same thing with the financials. The treasurer's report will be on the website as soon as possible, and the financials will be on probably within a day or two after the board members receive them. Thanks for attending. Appreciate it. That's it.
Lori?
Yes, we've had a long meeting here, so I just have a couple of short comments. Our next listening session will be Monday, June 6th at 3:30 in the Sand Wedge. And our listening session for July will be dark. There will be no session in July, and the listening sessions will start up again in August 1st. Thank you so much for attending the listening sessions and for attending this meeting here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Randy?
Yeah, I want to thank Jason also for his work on getting the agenda out this morning. We're doing the ad hoc committee for the potential of board expansion. We're going to have, Beverly and I will be interviewing candidates next Tuesday. If anybody else is still interested, I believe we have some of the volunteer forms. If anybody's interested, we could use a couple more candidates. I've been to a couple of the advisory committees, and it's been amazing watching what they do and listening to them in my short time on the board. And I think it's great for the community. After our last meeting, Dan and I did the listening session, and we had close to 50 people there. It was I believe it was a fantastic listening session. I think we were as open as we could be when we could be, and everybody was very open, and I think we accomplished a lot then, and we took our thoughts back to the board, and thank you everybody for coming.
Beverly's next.
I have something to say now. Actually, I have a couple of things. But first off, I will remind you that next week, Tuesday is a holiday. So your trash will not be picked up on Tuesday. It will be picked up on Wednesday. Monday. Well,
Monday's the holiday.
Monday's a holiday. But it'll still be picked up on Wednesday, right, Jason?
Correct.
Okay. Confusing. So my comment is about the advisory committees. You guys are doing a fabulous job. Many of you give us information here at the open session, which is highly appreciated. Many of you write wonderful articles for Lifestyles. And I would invite, everybody had said when we did that survey about where you get your information, Lifestyles was right at the top. But Lifestyles has more information in it besides what band is playing and when the garage sales are. So I would invite you to read what the advisory committees take the time to write. I know for a fact that the Master Architectural Committee writes a beautiful article that will answer lots and lots of questions for you yes, thank you, Roy, for doing that, every single month. So take an opportunity to read through those and find out more about these advisory committees and what they're doing. Because I know I've had to write those kinds of things, and it's not just to slap something together. It takes thought, it takes energy, it takes time. So I invite you, go look at that. There's a lot of great information in there, and it's a good education as well. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I just wanted to finish up. I wanted to thank everybody for attending our first afternoon session. I think there's Probably a preference to keep it in the afternoon rather than later in the evening. We'll see as time goes on, but I think it's better, more convenient for everybody. I want to thank everybody for stepping up. We requested for some volunteers for our new committees, and we had over 25 applicants. We have reviewed and selected and interviewed, and we now have 2 fully functioning committees, the Contract Committee and the Permanent Fact Committee. The other one will be starting up also very, very shortly. So I want to thank people for coming forward and getting involved in the community and helping us out. I also wanted to advise everybody, you may be aware, but just in case you're not, we have reinstituted the garage door checks. We had some thefts from garages, and so we have started the garage door checks again. And I want to remind people, keep the doors locked, keep their garage closed in the evening time, because anything can happen from thefts or critters coming in, and you need to be safe, and you need to basically take care of yourself. We started a new communication system here called Message to Management. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, or I've seen it. It's going to be on your webpage when you go ahead and log in. Up in the upper right-hand column is called Message to Management, and there you can message anything you want to FSR, to management. Jason and Chris will actually, they've committed to responding to them on a very, very timely basis, almost within a day. So you'll have, you can complaints, compliments, concerns, whatever it is, but go ahead and use that, because it's a real good way of dealing with issues that comes up, and now we know that they've been advised, and now they will respond, and if not, then we'll have a little tracking system. But I'm positive that they'll do an excellent job. I'm very impressed with the cooperation that we have been receiving from First Service. And lastly, and most importantly, I wanted to remind people that next week is going to be Charity Week, and or on the 6th, the 6th to the 12th is Charity Week. So participate. It's an amazing time, a lot of fun, and we give back to charity, local charities in the community. So thank you very much for coming, and before I adjourn, the next meeting is going to be here at 3 o'clock, June 22nd. So put on your calendars, popcorn and lemonade, June 22nd. I need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you for staying.